Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about something that drives every real estate agent crazy, watching a perfectly good deal completely fall apart right at the finish line. And, it's usually not about the money. It's about something deeper. We're going to explore a new AI tool that's designed to help master those make-or-break conversations and build the one thing that actually closes deals: trust.
So let's just get right to the heart of it, with a question I know every single agent out there has faced. You've put in the work, you've found the perfect buyer, the numbers are so close, so why does it all just suddenly collapse? Well, here's the thing. That final hurdle, it almost never has anything to do with the numbers on the page. It comes down to the confidence a client has in you, their trust that you are the expert who is going to get them the best possible outcome. The second that trust starts to wobble, even a little bit, the whole deal is in jeopardy.
All right, so let's put ourselves right in that moment, in that high-stakes conversation where everything you've worked for is just hanging by a thread. Okay, you know this one. You can almost feel it coming. Your client looks at you and says, "So why should I pay your fee when the agent down the road said they'd do it for less?" That right there, that's a direct challenge to your value, and how you answer that question decides everything.
But what if, in that exact moment, you had an expert negotiator right there in your pocket, ready to give you the perfect, data-backed response? Let's look at how a new kind of AI is giving agents a serious advantage.
All right, so here it is. It's a tool called Closely Now, and it's built to solve three massive problems for agents. First, being able to handle any tough client situation with exactly the right words. Second, making sure you stay 100% compliant. And third, doing all of this fast, getting you expert replies in under 10 seconds, right when you need them.
So what's actually making this thing so smart? What's the engine under the hood? Let's take a look at the brain behind the deal.
Yeah, first things first, this is not your average AI writer. Not at all. Closely Now is a strategic engine built specifically for the Australian and New Zealand property markets. And at its core is this market intelligence layer that's baked into every single response it creates.
So this layer is constantly pulling in data from 4 different really crucial streams: what the major banks are up to, the real-time economic situation like inflation and the official cash rate, or OCR, the interest rate that affects everything. It also looks at global factors and, critically, local building and policy info like tax rules and compliance standards. So every piece of advice is globally aware but super locally relevant. And this is where it gets really powerful. All that intelligence is grounded in data from sources you guys already know and trust, like the monthly reports from the Real Estate Institute of New Zealand, RINZ, and data from CoreLogic and PropTrack over in Australia.
Okay, so that's the tech, but how does it actually work in the real world? Let's see how this helps you totally master the moment when you're face-to-face with a client.
All right, let's go back to that killer commission question. The agent just pops the client's objection word for word right into the app.
And boom, just seconds later, this is the response it generates. And just look at what it's doing here. It's not getting defensive. It immediately reframes the whole conversation away from cost and puts the focus on net return. It even pulls in CoreLogic data to give the statement real weight. That's not a defense, that's authority.
And look, it's not just about arguing over fees. It handles all sorts of hesitation. In this case, a vendor wants to think about it. The AI creates a script that respects their feelings, but uses market data to create a bit of urgency around the buyers who are active right now.
Now, this is where things get really, really cool. You're not just getting some generic one-size-fits-all script. You can actually choose from different strategic tones to perfectly match your client's personality. So you can be the firm negotiator, or you can go with a more warm and casual vibe. It helps make sure your message always lands the right way.
And it's way more than just text. We're talking about a library of over 150 field-tested scenarios ready to go. You can get scripts for a phone call or for an email. And get this, there's even a listen button, so you can actually hear how the script should be delivered, which helps you nail the pacing and tone. That's a huge deal, especially for agents where English is a second language.
So let's be super clear about this. The point isn't for AI to replace great agents. Not at all. It's about giving them the tools to elevate their game, to become that go-to, indispensable advisor.
And it's not just a concept, it's actually happening right now. Top-tier agents at some of the biggest names across New Zealand and Australia are already using this every day.
Okay, but what about compliance? It's a huge deal for any agent. Well, the tool is designed from the ground up to align with major regulations like the REEA in New Zealand and Australian consumer law.
Now, of course, the agent is always the one responsible for that final message, but this gives you an incredible compliant head start.
So really, this is what it all boils down to. It gives you a clear path to building that authority. You respond instantly. You back up what you're saying with hard data. You build that unshakable trust we talked about. And that's how you close with total confidence.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. When you have tech like this at your fingertips, does it change what it even means to be a top real estate agent? Maybe the future is less about sales and way more about being a brilliant data-driven strategist.